Nile hasn't lived in the city for long. Each and every day is so different from the quiet little town that he calls home. Moving away for university, he longs for the comfort of friends, family, and all those creature comforts you miss when you first move out. Standing in front of the electronics shop window, a few blocks down from his apartment, Nile stares at the large-screen TVs and wonders whether his student budget could stretch to such a purchase. Watching anime on his phone doesn't quite have the same feel as the home cinema he has set up in his bedroom back in his family home. Scuffing up his boy band long hair, he flicks the bangs from his eyes and stuffs his hands into his empty pockets. Aw, man. He sighs with a long exhale. Looking at himself in the reflection of the shop window, he laments his first purchases upon arriving in the city. Although he adores the t-shirt he is wearing, thanks to the anime character he gets to represent proudly on his chest, he can't help but feel it might have been a waste of money. That's when his stomach rumbles. Skipping breakfast is coming back to haunt him. "Sorry, Mom," he says, clutching his stomach. Remembering what his mom said to him on the day he left, he knows he's not keeping his promise to take care of himself. Knowing he has next to no money to his name, he's got to rely on friends giving him food or stealing ketchup packets from the canteen. It's so bad that even his skinny jeans are starting to look like flares on his bony frame. Deciding to head back to his place, he turns the volume up on his music and starts walking back with his head down. Walking in the other direction is Reese. She's also fresh in the city, having moved to study. Strutting proudly, although a little haphazardly in her high platform heels, she ponders why she's struggling to make new friends. Being desperate to stand out in the city, having spent much of her life in the shadow of her older sister, Reese has undergone quite a transformation in style and wardrobe. Gone are the cute little dolly pumps, and in are the heavy boots, dark gothic dresses, and figure-hugging corsets. Along with her jet black hair and colorful bangs, she's got herself all the piercings her mother and father wouldn't allow for her back home. Being careful not to touch her latest industrial piercing, Reese puts in her headphones and starts blasting dad rock loud enough to make her ears bleed. "Wake up!" she sings, rocking out as she catwalks down the sidewalk. "Grab a brush and put in a little makeup!" Oblivious to the world around them, both Reese and Nile are on a collision course. One that'll set them on the course to be part of each other's lives. Nile keeps his head down, trying not to think of the gut-wrenching hunger he's forced upon himself by prioritizing fashion above his need to eat. Reese, singing along like she's the only person left in the world, throws her arms up and into the air and closes her eyes as the song gets to her favorite part. "When angels deserve to die," she screeches, completely out of tune. Wildly swinging her arms to mimic the drums, she's surprised to feel resistance. Opening up her eyes, she's shocked to see that she's drumming Nile directly on the head. Standing taller than him in the heels, she instantly throws off her headphones to ask him if he's okay. "Dude," she laughs, touching his long hair. "So sorry about that. Are you okay?" Having just had the drum beat to a System of a Down song air drummed directly into his head, Nile looks up dazed to see Reese looking slightly worried. "Ouch," Nile eventually answers, rubbing the top of his head. "Dude," Reese repeats, brushing the hair from his eyes. "I didn't see you. I'm so sorry. I just get a bit carried away." A little intimidated by the girl standing before him in such striking attire, Nile finds himself a little tongue-tied. Standing taller than him in such clothing, he wonders if she's beaten guys like that before just for fun. "Dude," Reese blurts, interrupting him to point directly at a shirt. "Is that the latest merch?" Reese touches his t-shirt and gushes at the design. "Oh man, how did you get hold of this? I wanted this one so much." "I bought it from a guy I know," Nile explains, finding his voice as a smug expression forms across his face. "You know a guy?" Reese smiles. "Does he have any more?" Just as Nile's about to answer her with a self-assured no, an obnoxiously energetic person appears next to them, being followed by a crew of guys holding cameras. Going silent, both Nial and Reece stare in bemusement as the guy stands next to them and starts presenting loudly at the camera. "Yo, the jet ski crew!" Throwing his arms all over the place like he's a cheesy rapper from the early 1990s. We've got another swap challenge for you. We've got a girlfriend and boyfriend here, and we're going to dare them to swap outfits. Giving each other a sideways glance, they take a step back in fear as the influencer attempts to insert himself into their personal space. I don't know if you two are a couple or not, he whispers in a more normal voice, but I'm willing to dare you both 100 big ones to trade outfits. What? Nile says, his eyes wide open in shock. I don't think that's a good idea. With suspicion, the influencer looks at both Nial and Reese. I take it. You don't know each other? Nope. Reese quickly replies. Legit though, you'll dare us for money? The influencer looks back at his crew waiting to record and he smiles. Yeah, we've been daring random people to do stuff all day for content. He looks at Reese's unique dress, complete with lace and bows. You've got a powerful look, young lady, and we'd love to see you trade with this guy. Niall shakes his head at the idea, but Reese just grins with pride. Aw, thanks. So, the influencer grins, looking at them both one by one. Or you win. She wears her jeans and top, and you wear her dress. For 100, Niall clarifies, still unsure. I'm broke, but that's not enough for me to make a fool of myself. The influencer taps his chin and frowns. It's just a bit of fun, dude. Reese leans in closer, keeping her eye on Niall's shirt at all times as she formulates a plan. How about this, she says. How about you raise that dare reward to 500? Then, me and this guy trade outfits down to every last detail. Reese brings her chunky high-heeled shoes up to make a point to them both. He wears my outfit completely, she says, smirking. And I mean the entire outfit, she continues, giving them both suggestive eyebrows. Niall's eyes grow wide as the influencer appears to agree. He stares intently at the bows, thrills, lace, and heels, and he's not so sure it's worth it. 500, the influencer asks, and you'll both agree to swap outfits completely? Reese nods. Yes, 500, and we'll do that for you, she replies, speaking for Niall before he can even open his mouth. Amazing, the influencer grins, turning back to his camera crew to explain the situation to them. Going as wide as a ghost, Niall considers booking it down the block and back to his place. Just as those thoughts almost become action, Reese prods him in the arm and he focuses on her smiling face. Hey, I'm Reese, she says, introducing herself. I hope you don't mind me talking for us both. I really like your shirt. Niall, he replies back with his name. I don't know about this, Reese. I do need the money, but I've just got to the city and I don't know if I need this sort of heat. Heat? Reese questions with a sarcastic expression. You mean being seen as a guy in a dress? Yeah, a guy wearing a dress for a dare. Reese snorts like he's making a mountain out of a molehill. Not exactly breaking news, dude. Think of the money. Niall's belly rumbles and he pulls a sour face. 250 each, Reese says with a cheeky smile. That's a lot of instant noodles, huh? His belly rumbles again, and the thought of a steaming hot ramen meal makes him salivate. Okay, he reluctantly agrees. But please be careful with my shirt. Excellent, Reese cheers. I'll treasure it like it's my own. Moments later, the awkward task of being filmed commences. The influencer introduces them as girlfriend and boyfriend and sets them to the dare. Flashing the money around at the camera, the influencer directs them both to the nearest public restroom to change in private. Locking themselves into the baby-changing toilet, Reese and Nile look at each other and wonder where to start. Have you ever worn heels before? Reese asks, curiously, as she plays with her long hair. What size feet are you? Nile looks down at his sneakers and he's embarrassed to say, size 7, he mumbles. Same here, Reese smiles, unfastening her corset. You know, you might not look half bad in my stuff. Unraveling the corset from her body, she lets out a long breath in relief. Placing it onto the bathroom counter, she looks at Nile and asks with a cheeky grin. Have you ever worn a corset before? No, Nile replies, almost offended by the question. You're going to love it, Reese laughs. Makes you feel really empowered. Giving her a nervous smile, He watches Reese reach behind her back to try and unzip her dress. After a few minutes of struggling, she stops and gives him a suspect look. "Well," she complains, turning her back to him. "Are you going to help me here or what?" Memories of his first time with a girl flash before his eyes as he unzips the dress of the beautiful woman before him. As Reese slides off the heavy dress and reveals her underwear, Nile has to bite his tongue hard to stop himself from getting too excited. "Wow," Reese chuckles, laying the dress carefully on the counter. "I really forget how heavy this dress is. Such a relief when you take it off." Unsure where to look, Nile goes bright red. "Are you going to get undressed?" Reese asks, noticing just how uncomfortable Nile has become. They are waiting for us. Nile can't bring himself to say anything. He just turns around, looks at the wall, and begins to unbutton his jeans. Stepping out of them, he places them next to Reese's dress on the counter. "How are we going to do this?" Reese asks, also looking away at the wall. "Maybe if we keep our backs to each other, we can just pass each other our underwear until we are both decent?" Slowly removing his t-shirt, Nile places it neatly on top of his jeans. "Sure," he answers nervously, not at all keen on the idea of wearing her underwear. Contemplating getting completely naked in front of this girl he's just met, he holds off lowering his boxer shorts. Then, causing his heart to race, a very skimpy pair of feminine briefs appear on top of his pile of clothing. "Don't worry," Reese laughs nervously, placing her bra on top of her underwear. "It's all fresh on this morning.